and it allows us to have an image of Christ.
Legends about a miraculous image of
touched the face of Christ and then bore a miraculous image.
For centuries, Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper has fascinated the world with its lifelike detail and haunting mystery. When advanced I finally analyzed the painting, historians expected to uncover lost colors, hidden textures, and historical insights. Not fear. But beneath layers of fading paint, the system revealed concealed words no human had ever noticed. Line by line, a secret emerged so unsettling, it left experts stunned and speechless. What did Da Vinci truly hide inside his masterpiece? And why did revealing it send shockwaves across the world? The mystery behind a timeless masterpiece. In the city of Milan, inside the quiet dining hall of Santa Maria delle Grazie, hangs one of the most famous paintings ever created, The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. For more than 5 centuries, people have studied this artwork, searching for meaning in every tiny detail. On the surface, it shows Jesus sharing his final meal with his 12 disciples before the crucifixion. But many believe there's something far deeper hidden within the scene, a secret Leonardo never intended to be easily discovered. Leonardo da Vinci was far more than a painter. He was an inventor, scientist, engineer, and visionary who lived centuries ahead of his time. He was fascinated by riddles, symbols, and hidden meanings. His notebooks were filled with mirror writing and mysterious sketches that people couldn't fully understand for generations. To Leonardo, art wasn't just about beauty. It was a way to conceal ideas. And many believe The Last Supper may have been his greatest hidden secret. When he created this masterpiece between 1495 and 1498, he broke with tradition. Instead of using the standard fresco technique, he experimented by mixing his own paints and applying them to dry plaster. The result was more vivid colors, but it also meant the artwork began fading and cracking much sooner. Yet those fragile layers of paint, the same ones damaged by time, may have given him the perfect way to hide something beneath the surface. For centuries, people have noticed unusual details in The Last Supper. The arrangement of the disciples feels almost mathematical. The direction of their hands, their gazes, even the placement of the bread and cups. Everything seems carefully planned. Some researchers believe the objects formed musical notes like a hidden melody. Others suggested the figure beside Jesus might not be John at all, but Mary Magdalene, hinting that Leonardo da Vinci may have been trying to reveal something shocking about the story of Jesus itself. But for years, these ideas remained only theories, with no real proof. That changed recently when a group of researchers decided to examine the painting in a completely new way, using artificial intelligence. In 2025, a team of scientists from Italy and Japan launched a project called Da Vinci Decoded. Their goal was to let AI analyze the artwork in extreme detail, down to the smallest pixel. They believed Leonardo might have hidden messages or even writing within the painting, details too subtle for the human eye to ever detect. The team began by using hyperspectral imaging, an advanced scanning method that captures colors and light far beyond what the human eye can detect. This technology allowed them to see through centuries of dirt, damage, and layered paint. Every crack, shadow, and brushstroke was converted into detailed digital data. That data was then analyzed by an AI system trained on Leonardo da Vinci's handwriting, sketches, and coded notes from his journals. After weeks of processing, something unexpected happened. The AI started identifying patterns no one had ever noticed before. Faint markings that resembled tiny letters or symbols hidden beneath the surface. At first, the researchers assumed it was simply random wall cracks or aging paint. But as more images were examined, the same shapes kept appearing, gradually forming what looked like actual words. What shocked them even more was the location of these hidden markings. They weren't near Jesus or the disciples where most people would expect secret clues to be placed. Instead, they appeared in the darker, overlooked areas of the painting, behind the table, along the walls, and inside the archways, places no one had ever carefully examined. In that moment, the team understood this wasn't accidental damage or coincidence. It felt intentional. Leonardo da Vinci, the man known for hiding ideas within symbols and sketches, may have embedded actual words inside The Last Supper. And those words, still buried beneath centuries of paint, were only just beginning to surface. If true, this discovery had the power to change everything humanity believed about Leonardo. The AI decryption begins. The moment the patterns appeared, shock spread through the research team. No one had truly expected to find anything. The project, called Da Vinci Decoded, had started as a simple experiment, a way to test how far modern technology could go in analyzing ancient art. But once the AI began detecting faint letters hidden in the painting, the entire mission changed. The researchers regrouped inside their quiet lab in Florence, where the project was being closely monitored. On a large screen, an enlarged image of the Last Supper glowed softly in the dim room. Several small sections were highlighted in red, the same areas where the AI had detected unusual markings. These spots appeared along the stone wall behind Jesus, within the deep shadows beneath the table, and even across the folds of the disciples' robes. At first glance, the marks seemed like nothing more than scratches or cracks from age. But once the AI enhanced the scans using hyperspectral imaging, something extraordinary began to emerge. Letters. They weren't bold or easy to read, more like faint ghosts trapped beneath layers of paint. Some letters were tilted, others appeared reversed, and a few formed strange patterns that only Leonardo da Vinci could have designed. Dr. Elena Rossi, the lead historian on the team, leaned closer to the screen. She had spent over 20 years studying Leonardo's work, yet what she saw now made her pulse quicken. "These aren't random," she murmured. "He wanted them to be discovered, just not in his own time." The AI had been trained to recognize Leonardo's unique writing style, especially his famous mirror script, the backward writing that can only be read properly in a mirror. As the system continued analyzing the data, it began linking symbols and matching them with phrases from Leonardo's old notebooks. Slowly, fragments of sentences started to take shape. At first, the words were small and unclear. Terms like ombra, shadow, verita, truth, and tradimento, betrayal. But as more scans were processed, the words began connecting, forming short phrases that made everyone in the room uneasy. It felt as if the painting itself was whispering across time. To rule out any digital mistakes, the team ran multiple verification scans using different technologies: ultraviolet, infrared, and X-ray fluorescence imaging. Each method revealed the same thing: the faint writing was real. It wasn't a glitch or illusion. It was physically embedded beneath the surface of the paint. News of the discovery spread quietly through academic circles. Only a small group of experts knew what was unfolding. The researchers agreed to keep everything confidential until they fully understood what they had uncovered. Even the Vatican was only told in vague terms that new imaging had revealed unusual sublayers within the Last Supper. The team chose not to reveal the full details just yet. Meanwhile, the AI continued evolving rapidly. It began analyzing the painting like a complex puzzle, linking symbols, geometry, and positioning. The system discovered that the hidden letters weren't randomly placed. Instead, they followed a deliberate pattern, a spiral beginning near Jesus' right hand and expanding outward, passing across each disciple in sequence. It looked like a code woven directly into the artwork. When Dr. Rossi saw the complete mapping displayed on the screen, a chill ran through her. "It's like he hid a message in motion," she whispered, as if the painting was waiting for the right mind to finally understand it. And then, something even stranger happened. As the analysis continued, the AI started producing more than scattered phrases. It began forming full sentences. Some of the Italian words were archaic, written in the dialect Leonardo da Vinci used in the late 1400s. When translated, they revealed cryptic messages that felt almost like warnings, statements that seemed to challenge faith and truth itself. One fragment read, "What is seen is not what is true." Another said, "The hands speak louder than the mouths of men." These weren't passages from the Bible, nor did they match any known historical text. They felt deeply personal, like Leonardo's private reflections, hidden in a place no one would ever think to look. The room fell silent as the researchers read the lines aloud. With every new scan, more fragments appeared. Some seemed harmless or philosophical, but others carried a darker tone. Hints of deception, secrecy, and knowledge that may have been deliberately kept from the world. To be certain, the team compared the newly discovered phrases with Leonardo da Vinci's personal journals. In several entries, the AI identified matching words and ideas, the same handwriting style, the same mirror writing, even similar phrasing. The evidence became hard to dismiss. It strongly suggested that Leonardo himself had embedded these words. As more sentences surfaced, the atmosphere in the lab shifted. The deeper the AI analyzed the painting, the more the messages seemed to question religion, authority, and long-held beliefs. Some of the phrases hinted at ideas powerful enough to challenge centuries of tradition. One message in particular sent a chill through the room. It appeared faintly beneath the table where Jesus and the disciples were seated. When translated, it read, "The truth will rise when reason replaces faith." Silence followed. The air felt heavy. Dr. Rossi finally spoke, her voice unsteady. "If this is authentic," she said, "then Leonardo wasn't simply painting a biblical moment. He was leaving a message for the future, for us." The team decided to keep the findings confidential until every detail could be verified. But deep down, they all sensed the same thing. This was only the beginning. For centuries, something had remained hidden within the Last Supper. And now, with the help of artificial intelligence, it was finally coming to light. The hidden words come to light. Days slowly turned into weeks as the research team continued examining the Last Supper. The AI system ran constantly, processing millions of tiny image fragments and comparing them with the writings of Leonardo da Vinci. With every new scan, more faint markings appeared beneath the layers of paint. What had first looked like scattered letters gradually formed complete phrases, mysterious sentences that felt as though they were coming directly from Leonardo's own thoughts. With each discovery, the mystery only grew deeper. The AI revealed that the hidden text wasn't placed randomly. It followed a deliberate structure based on the golden ratio, a mathematical principle Leonardo frequently used in his art. The pattern began at the center with Jesus and extended outward in spirals of perfect symmetry. It was as if the message had been carefully woven into the very framework of the painting, designed to remain hidden for centuries. As the scans reached deeper layers, the words became clearer. The AI translated the faded Italian into modern language, and what emerged unsettled everyone who read it. The messages spoke about truth, deception, and betrayal, themes that closely echoed the tone found in Leonardo's personal notebooks. By now, it was impossible to dismiss it as coincidence. The hidden phrases appeared intentional. The first full sentence appeared faintly along the wall behind Jesus. It read, "All faith fades when light reveals the hand of man." The line seemed to question the idea of divine perfection, suggesting that what people revere might be shaped or guided by human influence. Soon after, the AI uncovered another message near the shadow of Judas Iscariot, the disciple remembered for betrayal. This one read, "He who eats with truth will not betray himself." As more phrases appeared, the researchers noticed a clear pattern. Each message seemed tied to a specific disciple, almost as if Leonardo da Vinci had left hidden reflections about each of them. Beneath Peter, the AI detected faint text that translated to, "Strength without understanding is blind." Near Thomas, known for doubting the resurrection, another line emerged. "To question is not sin, but the path to clarity." Together, these discoveries suggested a very different intention behind Leonardo's work. It didn't feel like an attack on religion, but rather a challenge to blind belief. an invitation to seek reason, knowledge, and truth beyond what people are simply told. Yet as the analysis continued, the tone of the hidden words began to grow darker. In the lower right section of the mural, near the disciples' feet, the AI uncovered a longer line buried beneath multiple layers of paint. After enhancing and translating it, the message read, "Those who hold power will bury truth beneath stone, until the eyes of the future uncover it." That single sentence changed everything. It sounded less like commentary and more like a warning, as if Leonardo da Vinci had left a message for future generations, suggesting that knowledge might be deliberately hidden by those who feared its impact. As more phrases emerged, the meaning began shifting from art towards something almost prophetic. The AI grouped the hidden lines by tone and placement, revealing a darker narrative about corruption, deception, and the suppression of truth through fear. Leonardo once wrote in his journals that the eyes see what the mind is ready to comprehend. Now it felt as though he had embedded that same philosophy into the heart of his most famous work. As the data accumulated, the researchers noticed another striking detail. Each major phrase followed a precise mathematical alignment. When mapped digitally, the hidden letters formed geometric patterns that all pointed toward the center of Jesus, the focal point of the painting. And within that central space, they found something no one had ever documented before. Beneath the original pigment of Jesus' robe, the AI detected an almost invisible inscription. The words were so faint that only hyperspectral imaging could reveal them. Once translated, the message read, "Truth belongs not to saints, but to those who seek it in silence." This line quickly became the most debated discovery of the entire project. It carried both quiet wisdom and subtle defiance. It suggested that truth was not simply handed down by divine authority, but something people must search for themselves, a radical and potentially dangerous idea in Leonardo's era, when institutions like the Catholic Church held immense control over knowledge and belief. The researchers compared these discoveries with other works by Leonardo da Vinci. In many of his sketches, he drew human figures enclosed within geometric shapes, often interpreted as symbols of reason existing within systems of belief. In his private notebooks, he warned about blind obedience and the dangers of accepting ideas without questioning them. The hidden phrases in the Last Supper seem to reflect those same thoughts, but expressed on a much larger and more powerful scale. When the full translation was completed, it revealed nearly 40 separate phrases, each connected to different areas of the painting. Together, they formed what appeared to be a unified message, one cautioning against corruption disguised as holiness. According to the AI's reconstruction, the overarching statement read, "Faith without reason is the sleep of truth, and those who wake shall see what was forbidden." That final line left the team stunned. It suggested that Leonardo had deliberately planted a warning, that one day, far in the future, his concealed words would surface and people would finally grasp their meaning. For centuries, countless visitors had gazed at the Last Supper inside Santa Maria del Grazie, admiring its beauty, emotion, and masterful composition. Yet beneath that beauty, a silent message may have been waiting, a voice carried across time. Now, through artificial intelligence, that voice seemed to have been uncovered, but the revelation brought more than amazement. It also brought unease. If the message was authentic, then the painting was never meant to be only about faith. It was also about power, knowledge, and the danger that arises when one is used to control the other. And once the findings moved beyond the walls of the monastery in Milan, the reaction was immediate. The aftermath: fear, denial, and revelation. The moment news of the hidden words in the Last Supper became public, the world responded with disbelief and fascination. What began as a quiet academic experiment quickly transformed into one of the most controversial and talked about moments in art history. The idea that Leonardo da Vinci had hidden secret messages inside his masterpiece quickly spread across headlines, social media, and newsrooms around the world. Historians called it revolutionary. Religious groups called it dangerous. The Vatican, suddenly at the center of the controversy, released a brief statement saying the church would examine the claims carefully. But behind closed doors, many officials were deeply concerned. The messages didn't directly attack faith, yet their meaning challenged centuries of belief. They spoke of truth hidden by power and knowledge suppressed by control, ideas many felt were far too bold for Leonardo's era. In Florence, the researchers behind the discovery found themselves overwhelmed. For months, they had worked quietly in their lab. Now, Reporters crowded outside, demanding interviews and evidence. Eventually, the team released a final report confirming that the phrases were genuine and that the handwriting matched Leonardo's distinctive mirror script. The conclusion was unavoidable. The messages were his. Around the world, the revelation sparked intense debate. Some believed Leonardo had been centuries ahead of his time, leaving a warning that truth and reason would eventually rise above blind faith. Others argued that the AY may have misinterpreted natural cracks and patterns in the aging paint. But those familiar with Leonardo's work knew how deliberate he was. In his art, every shape, shadow, and proportion was intentional. Museums soon began displaying digital overlays of the painting, allowing visitors to see exactly where the hidden words had been found. People lined up for hours, studying the faint inscriptions beneath the surface, words that had waited centuries to finally be seen. For many people, the discovery felt spiritual in its own way, almost as if Leonardo da Vinci had intended for future generations to uncover what his own could not. But not everyone felt inspired. Some religious leaders condemned the findings, calling them a violation of sacred art. Protests broke out outside museums in Italy, with demonstrators demanding that the scans be stopped. Yet despite the backlash, the images kept spreading, circulating across the world faster than anyone could contain them. In the end, the Last Supper remained exactly where it had always been, hanging quietly in its refectory in Milan, inside Santa Maria delle Grazie. Its colors were faded, but its mystery felt more alive than ever. Only now, people saw it differently. Beneath the painted faces of Jesus and his disciples, they sensed something deeper, a hidden message from a mind far ahead of its time. Leonardo always believed that truth could hide in plain sight, waiting for those willing to truly see. And now, through modern technology, his voice seemed to echo once more, not just through art, but across centuries. The secret was never truly lost. It was simply waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the next video on your screen.